Shalom, 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 Yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Right, today's lesson is going to be called At the End It Shall Speak. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Right, that's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. Right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. Right, so like I said, today's lesson is going to be called At the End It Shall Speak. And just with everything that's going on, we through the Spirit, we know that we are in these last days, that we are close to the end, especially of the end of Babylon, and just seeing all the different signs, that are out there, we it just assures us that, this it's surely to come. Okay. And I came across this little bit this morning. And it's from earth.com, and it says tonight's worm moon coincides with a subtle lunar eclipse. I just want to read a little bit about it. We're just going to go into a couple of scriptures. Lord's will, this is edifying. Okay. So it says, as the first full moon of the spring season draws near, it says stargazers are in for a fascinating event. March's full moon, known as the worm moon, will coincide with a subtle lunar eclipse. So it says the phenomenon is set to unfold Sunday night, extending into the early hours of Monday morning. Let me see. Let me go down to it. Let me see here. So reading on, it says, as the full moon rises during the late evening of March 24th into the early morning hours of March 25th, it will travel through the Earth's penumbra, or the faint outer part of its shadow. This is called a phenomenal, a prenumerable eclipse. It said the lunar eclipse will be visible to all North and South America. The moon will dim very slightly over those few nighttime hours, which can make for an interesting time lapse, even if it can be difficult to notice by just a glance at the sky. Right. So, and the reason why, you have these lunar eclipses, there's solar eclipses that are coming upon this place, and all this stuff is, is prophesied, I just want to get a couple of scriptures, to go over it, and Lord's word, this is edifying. Okay. So let's go to it. Matter of fact, let's start at the title, right, which is in Habakkuk, right? So lucky this thing is, takes a little minute. I'm gonna go to Habakkuk 2. Started Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, right? So it says, Salakia, verse 3. Salakia. Well, I started verse 2. So this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 2. And Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. Okay. So these things is the vision that Habakkuk had got was for the future, right? Which we know to be prophecy. Okay, so and I'll read it in the NLT. Right, it says, "And then Yahawah Bahasham said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets, so that a runner can carry it and correct the correct message to others." Right, and back in the day, the messengers they would go and they would take a letter of information, and they would run it to the next town or wherever it need to be. Okay, the modern day, the way we do that is through the unicorn, right? We deliver Yahawah Shai's message. We run across the four corners of the earth, and using the unicorn. All right, but that's a different lesson right there. But it says, verse 3, it says, the vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Okay? So understanding that, and the things that we see now they're all coming to pass, Like you say, you have these, these lunar and solar eclipses going on. Let me see. Matter of fact, let's go to, let's get into this real quick. Salakia. Matter of fact, nope. Salakia, I want that's the joys real quick. I want the blue letter, right? Now I want to go to the book of Genesis. I want to go into the book of Genesis. So let's get into it. Genesis 1. All right. And let's go to let's go to verse number 14. Right? Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. Right? And I'm going to read it, and then we're going to kind of get into it real quick too, just to elaborate on something. And then we'll get back into it, right? So this is Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, and I'm going to read it for what it says. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be signs for seasons and for days and for years, right? So in the heavens, there are all types, you got, you have your stars, you have your planets, you have your asteroids, right? And in these days, and if you haven't noticed, you have this this subtle lunar eclipse. You have you've been having blood moons. You have the solar eclipse coming up. You have a asteroid or a meteorite. I forgot what it's called, but it's called something like the devil's asteroid or something. All this stuff is coming around the same time, right? And this is, this was from the beginning, right? That these things, it says, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years, right? But real quick in verse 14, so, people don't get confused, I want to go into this real quick. And it says, because when I said God, right, this is not talking about the Most High, right? When you get this, and it's the Elohim.
Strong's H 430, entry 1. Eloach. Eloach. Second entry. Elohim. Elohim. And the third entry. Eloach. Eloach.
Right. So it's Elohim. And Elohim, are the angels, right, and Yahawashi, right? So when you read the book of Genesis, the first chapter, and I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, brothers can correct me. The Most High Power Yahawah is not mentioned until the third chapter, or maybe the second. But in this first one, this is talking about the angels. The angels in Yahawashi. Okay, the Elohim. Okay, so let's get back to it. Right. So it says, and when I read it, change it with the Elohim so we know what we're talking about. So it says, Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, and the Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be signs for the seasons and for the days and for the years, right? And in the NLT it says, then Elohim said, let lights appear in the skies to separate the day from the night. Let them be signs to mark the seasons, the days, and the years. Right? So, let me see if I go down a little bit. Let's see, Salakia. That's it. That's it on that. All right, let's get back to the lesson. So, like I say, these prophecies have been coming into pass. And there's everything. You have earthquakes, you have wars, rumors, you have rumors of wars. You have all these things going on, in these times. And, like I say, the brethren just had, Passover, it's a solemn assembly, a beautiful thing, and, brothers is just discussing, the time that we're living in, but let's get this, let me see. Salakia, 2nd Ezra 9. We'll start at verse 1. Okay, it's not working. This thing is tripping. 2nd Ezra 9, 2. Okay. All right. Here we go. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? So, understanding that, the things that we see, were written aforetime, and they were meant for these end times, and to know where we're at, right? The moons, the stars, they were all set up for a season to show us and know, so we know what time it is, what times we're living in, by the moon, we know, the month, we know the different things, by looking at the moon. When we see blood moons, we know, hey, destruction and stuff is coming. There's so many signs, right? But the scriptures tell you too. Let's get that real quick, Salakia. Let's go back to this. Salakia, I'm using a couple of different apps. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. And it says, hear ye the word which Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Right? Israel, the house of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you are the Israelites. Right? It says, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Right? So Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is telling you, don't be dismayed. Matter of fact, let's see if we can get a comparison. See what it says. Here we go. The G&T says, he says, do not follow the ways of other nations, and do not be disturbed by unusual sights in the sky, even though other nations are terrified. Right? Let's see the NOT. It says, this is what Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi says, do not act like the other nations who try to read their future in stars. Do not be afraid of their predictions, even though other nations are terrified by them. I think the G&T kind of probably hits it a little harder. So it says, do not be disturbed by the unusual sights in the sky, right? Because the heathen, these other nations, they're terrified against it, right? They're seeing these things in the skies. They're seeing all this stuff, right? But understand, that this in the book of Genesis, it tells you that these were for signs, for seasons and for marks, right? And the season that we know we're living is the end season. We know that we're living in the end times, right? And like in the book of Habakkuk, at the end it shall speak and it shall not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, but it'll surely come, right? And we're seeing it right now, before our eyes. Let's get another one. Let's go to the book of Acts, right? The book of Acts, what is it, 2? Is it 30? Let's see. Slovakia. Might be 20. God. Verse 19, right? Just the book of Acts chapter 2, verse 19. It says, I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire, vapor and smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi come, right? So understand that, the Lord, has always before, like in the book of Jeremiah, right? Let's get that. He has warned, of things to come, right? Jeremiah 28 and 8, right? It says the prophets that have been Salaki, this is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against many countries, against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. The Most High has always set out his prophets to warn the people of the impending danger to come, of the death and destruction of things to come. And he's showing it with signs and with wonders, Let's go back to that book of Acts 2 and 19, right? So it says, and I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire, vapor and smoke. It says, and the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi come. Okay? That's why, I remember, maybe it was a year or a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, there was a lot of blood moons going on. These are all signs. These are all signs of things to come, that things are on their way, right? What is that? I think it talks about the same thing in Joel. Joel 2, I think it's 30 on this one. Con. Joel chapter 2 and verse 30, it says, "And I will show wonders in heavens and in earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." Right? And it says, "The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great terrible day of Yahawashi come." Right? So understand that, the scriptures tell you to not be dismayed. Don't be troubled by the things that you see in the sky. Right? That's why I know me and one of my Akims, or actually both my Akims, their sons, we saw the chariots of Yahawashi, right? It was streaking across the sky. It was actually looks like it was headed towards the moon, you know? But we're not dismayed at, we're not terrified of it, because we know what that is. We know that these things are signs, just to show to come. Okay? So you have, these solar eclipses, you have these different things, and all these are signs to show us, of what's going on, right? And it's amazing, right? That, like I say, you're gonna have the new moon, or so like not the new moon. You're gonna have a solar eclipse, coming, pretty soon, right? And we just did Passover, right? And I want to read, the account of Yahawashi, right? When Yahawashi was on the cross, what's that? Mark 15, and let's go to verse number 25 and see. Oh, that's not it. Salakia. Where is it? It's Salakia. Okay. Matter of fact, here it is. Okay. Okay, so here we go. This is Mark chapter 15, verse 25. And I want to, let's look. It says, and it was the third hour and they crucified him, right? Talking about Yahawashi, right? And it says, in the GNT, says it was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him, okay? Now let's jump down. It says, in the 33rd verse, right? It says, "And when the 6th hour was come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour," right? And it says, and the 9th hour, Yahawashi cried with a loud voice, saying, Elohi, Elohi, lama sabachthani, which is being interpreted, my power, why hast thou forsaken me?" Right? So when you look into this, it says it was darkness, right? And I just want to see what time it is, right? And it says, in the GNT, it says, "At noon, the whole country was covered in darkness, which lasted for 3 hours. And at 3 o'clock, Yahawashi cried out with a loud shout, Elohi, Elohi, lima sabachthani," which means my power, why did you abandon me? Okay. But during that time, there was a solar eclipse. Okay. And the reason I brought the up, because you have right now, like I say, you have in a couple weeks that there's going to be a solar eclipse. Just as in the times when Yahawashi was crucified. So these signs and these things are here. And they're surely showing us what time we're living in. And if you haven't been paying attention, you have they've been talking about closing schools, closing facilities, grocery stores being closed, all these different things that are going on, so they're panicking. They know, Esau knows that his time is short, right? According to the book of Revelation, right? Revelation 12:12, right? It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, right? We see the chariots of Yahawashi, we call out, to the name of Yahawashi, they look at it and they're dismayed. They look at these things, It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right? He knows he has a short time, and these seasons, the moon, the stars, the sun, right? All these things are, for seasons and times to tell you what time you're living in. And Esau knows that his time is coming up. It's short. His time is very limited. It's about to expire at this point, So, but this, like I say, Yahawashi tells the Israelites to not be dismayed or do not be troubled at the signs that you see in the sky. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up. Yahawashi told us, let's go to it and close it out on that. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse number 28. I'll start at verse number 25, right? This is Luke chapter 21, verse 25, and it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations and perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing for fear of them, for the looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. We start to see these things, people will always be asking me and my brother, why y'all always looking, what y'all looking up there for? Well, we know, our redemption draweth nigh. We're looking, we continue to watch. Scriptures continue to tell you to watch and pray, right? And we're watching, for our salvation, Lord's will, we're part of that number, okay? But it says when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh, right? So with that, Lord's will, this was edifying, right? I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the elect, to the 144,000 men, 12,000 from each tribe, and to the rest of the elect. Stay diligent, stay focused, keep enduring, keep praying for one another, keep watching, and keep praying, and look up, because your salvation draweth nigh, redemption draweth nigh. Right, and with that, I want to say shalom.